Hey guys, this is Maji from Pllquotes. Today let's talk about pull quotes in WordPress. So how are you actually going to make some nice looking pull quotes in WordPress? Well, you probably think that's simple. Yeah, just go to the plugins inside of WordPress and then I'm going to search for a good plugin and that's it. 5 minutes and the pull quotes are done. Well, yeah, that's what I thought as well. And then I went into plugins, add new. Just a second, please. Yeah, there we go. And then I was searching for Pullquote, obviously. And obviously there are some plugins. Some plugins have this functionality within along other shortcodes like Shortcodes Ultimate that I have installed. Then there's simple pull quote, perfect pull quotes. So it seems it's gonna be very easy to get that going. However, it turned out, at least in my case, that all those plugins just simply don't do the job right, or at least not what I would like them to do. And the main problem with all these plugins is that it just won't look good on mobile. So the pull quotes are not responsive, and if the pull quotes are not responsive, let's say on mobile devices, iPhone 5, 6, 7 for instance, if they're cut off, it's a complete waste of time to install these kind of plugins for me because 70 or 80% of my traffic comes from mobile devices, which is the case for most of the websites. So you absolutely have to make sure that the pull quotes look good on mobile too. So let me just show you for a second on my blog what I mean with that. Maybe it's time to make an ad for my website, Linguaholic, here a little bit. I have a nice forum here about languages. If that's something you're interested in, have a look at it. And I also have a blog here, up and running. And recently I've written a text called Fugazi, one hell of a word. It's all about the word Fugazi. It's actually a pretty crazy story, or crazy stories about how that word originated and what it means. And to illustrate that better, I wanted to put in some pull quotes. And I did that like this, you will see in a second. Here we go. I think that's a pretty nice looking pull quote. But I didn't do that with a plugin. I ended up doing that stuff by myself in Illustrator, and that's probably what you will need to do as well if you don't want to go crazy because those plugins don't work. I will show you that in a second. So this is the kind of pull quote that I was looking for. It seems simple enough. There's just a vertical bar here. There is a certain text that you would like to pull out of your paragraphs, obviously. And those apostrophes, that's all. Should be simple enough, but I literally couldn't find a plugin that handled that in a way that I liked. And the main problem was, as I said before, it's not responsive. What I mean by that is, if you're in Google Chrome, you can simply make a right click, then you go to inspect. And there you can choose the different screen resolutions, and you can preview how it's gonna look like on those devices, which is a very handy feature for several reasons. So let's say I want to know how this is gonna look like on iPhone 6, 7, 8. We're gonna find out that this actually looks good. You see, it's perfectly responsive. So everything looks great even on the mobile phone here. So no problem with that. I can change here to, let's say, iPad. That's another one here, looks good too. Yeah, great, no problem. You see. So, and if you will do that with a plugin, there's a very high chance that here on the side the quote will be just cut off on mobile devices because plugins don't handle this very well. I couldn't find it, so I searched for like 3-4 hours to get the right plugin to do that, and it was absolutely frustrating. I couldn't find anything. So if that should happen to you, then let's have a look how you can fix this or how you can do that stuff by yourself. For that, we will go into Illustrator. And those are the pull quotes that I use now. I just set up that stuff by myself. It's pretty simple. I just used the line segment tool to make that bar here. You can just very simply do a bar like that. After that, you can put some stroke to it here to make it look a little bit fatter. Just put it on the white background here. And the apostrophes, I guess you know how to do that. Just choose a big font for that. Choose a nice looking font for the pull quote itself. I use Proxima Nova, which is an amazing looking font, I think. And that's about it. Then you just need to make sure that the size is more or less what you want. Now, what I chose here is about 300 pixels wide and 180 pixels height. I think that's a pretty good size for a pull quote on a website. So you could try that, for example, but of course it depends on your template that you're using for your website. But that's maybe a good starting point. And I also prepared some vertical pull quotes that are gonna look like this here. Very simple, but I don't know, I like the style. They look neat, it's very simple. And I can also show you how those vertical pull quotes are gonna look like inside of the post. Let me just go back to the main page of the blog. Okay, I have a post here about Japanese colors. Somebody's trying to call me, I don't want to answer. And I will show you how those look like. Here we have another one, horizontal one. Just scrolling down, it's a pretty long post. There you go, you have a nice looking vertical pull quote here. On the right side once, here on the left side another one. And to insert that, what you need to do is simply, you will just go to the media section in WordPress. And we'll just upload that as a picture, and then you're just gonna insert that like you would with a normal picture, and there you can choose left aligned, right aligned, or center. So yeah, that's pretty simple. I don't think I will need to show you this in more detail. So yeah, I think this is, it sounds absurd, but for me this was actually the easiest way to set that up. Like those plugins is a nightmare to deal with those plugins, and they're not that many. If you are going to use one of those plugins, what you can try is, I would recommend you to use the one called, I think, Perfect Pullquotes. This one, at least on desktop, looked very nice, but yeah, it was messed up on mobile, so for my purposes, just couldn't use it. Perfect Pullquotes is definitely one of the better plugins here. Yeah, you can try this one if that works for you. And if not, just do that in Illustrator. I will leave the template for you guys as well. So if you think that what I did here with the pull quotes looks good for your purposes, feel free to use that if you can, and make your adjustments to make it look good on your website. It's very simple, I know, but maybe still a few people can take advantage of it and use it like that, or just modify it a little bit. So feel free to do that. You will find those files in the description. And if you have a better way to get pull quotes into WordPress, please let me know. But in my case, that was the simplest way. Hope that was helpful, guys. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and see you next time.